just tell you this. This is the most important thing that matters in high school. I need you to hear me. I'm reiterating this. So when you do go into high school, you're not like, wait, what? Can you guys see me? Yeah? Hey guys, it is Lauren Whitney, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the 10 things every freshman needs to know before they go into high school. And I'm telling you, these are the 10 things I wish people would have told me. People were too busy talking about, oh, small things like homework or like teacher, like small stuff like that, and not talking about the bigger picture. So I'm gonna give out a video I wish I had when I was in 8th grade going into my freshman year. So the first thing on this list that is the most important of them all, okay, before we even get into anything, the most important thing, I need you to hear me. I'm reiterating this. So when you do go into high school, you're not like, wait, what? Or when you do finish high school, you're not like, what? So just tell you this. This is the most important thing that matters in high school. Your GPA. I'ma just say it. Your GPA is something that is so important that not enough people talk about. They do not talk about like, hey, like you need to make sure your grades are not just good so you don't get your phone taken away in the summer. You need to make sure your grades are good so it does not affect your GPA when, you know, when it's time to start looking for colleges. Because if I'm being honest, my GPA would have been so much better if I genuinely understood the value of a GPA and what that meant. So what is a GPA? Like, what is that? A GPA is your grade point average. So every, I don't know how it is for different schools, but I know for most high schools, you have 2 semesters in a year. And yeah, so those are like when you get your report cards, you look on student view, look on whatever you have, and you see your grades for that semester. That is a part of your GPA. Now, let's talk about classes and how you build up your GPA. So, of course, when you get your grades in, that goes into your GPA, but it also depends what classes you're in to kind of categorize how many points you will get added to your GPA. So, you know, it's hard for me to kind of go into this when so many schools and different states have different things, but I will say for the most part, I know that, you know, regular classes, let me think, I think it's 0.5. All right, so here is how you calculate, like, you know what I mean, your GPA grading system, or like how much, you know, your classes meant. So for us, we have AP classes where you can get extra points on your GPA. So I would recommend every high schooler take an APA class and an honors class. I don't know what they call it, but we all know that, you know, high schools have always like a hierarchy of you're on this level, this level, this level. Always try to go for the next level. I mean, take the classes, take the honor classes, take the AP classes, take whatever you can take to get your point system up, you know what I mean, of building your GPA. And I would say, if you know you're not really good at something, don't go take the class. If you know you suck at math, do not go get yourself in the highest AP math class, taking calculus, taking all this stuff when you know you most definitely cannot keep up with it. Because I know I most definitely cannot keep up with it. So you will never see me taking an AP math class. But maybe when it comes to writing, yes, I will push myself and I will take that class. You know what I mean? So just do whatever you can to get your grade up, because once, you know, say you do take that AP class and you start failing, it's gonna hurt your grade more drastically than, you know what I mean, if you would have just took a class you knew you could pass, and even though it didn't do the best to your grade, at least it didn't do worse to your grade. You feel me? Next, we are going to go to scheduling, your school schedule and how that occurs. So once again, it's different for every state, every city, and stuff like that. But what I will say is, I know when I was going into high school, I was so excited and so nervous. So I'm like, oh my gosh, high school is so much bigger. There's so many students. How am I gonna get to this class? How am I gonna know to go to this class? Or how am I gonna know to go to this class? How much time do I have in between? Like, I was literally freaking out. Like, I was literally looking up YouTube videos, day in the life of a high school student. Like, I was freaking out because I'm like, I'm not prepared. Like, this is like, the whole scheduling thing just overwhelmed me, if I'm being honest. And let me just say, that is something I guess most people are nervous for, but once you get the hang of it, on like the third day, you kind of been talking to these people, you met your teachers, the schedule will come like this, you know what I mean? So for me, in my high school, and for most high schools around, we have 4 classes. I know some people have 7, I know some people have 8, you know what I mean? It just depends what school you go to, but for our school, we do 4 classes per semester, right? So we have, you take like math, history, science, and then you take a extracurricular, whatever, like, you know, like PE or something like that, art or something like that. I always chose PE when I was, you know, in my freshman and sophomore year because they were the easiest to me, and I was like, easy A, all you gotta do is just dress out and you're good. So yeah, and even when it comes to like the scheduling and how like you're like, well, should I take this class, should I take this class? Girl or boy, just do it. I mean, you're a freshman. This is your trial and error year. This is a year that you can make 1,000 mistakes. Next thing that we are going to talk about are friends. Your friends in high school. So, look, I'm going to just tell you the truth that a lot of people don't tell us. Most of the friends that you have right now, you're not going to have in your senior year. You're not. And I know you probably have heard it. I know you probably seen something on TikTok saying how it's true and how when you leave senior year, you're not going to have the same friends as you once did. And let me just tell you, it is true. It is true. It's true. Like, it's just the truest thing. And at first, I used to think, I used to get so sad, like, oh my gosh, like, you know what I mean? But it's all a part of the journey. Like, because the thing is about friends, you have to have a trial and error run. And that is the thing about growing up, is deciding, hey, what kind of friends do I like? What kind of, one sec. Sorry. But yeah, you have to find out, what kind of friends do I like? What kind of people do I like being around? What kind of friends make me happy? What kind of friends support me? What kind of friends make me feel like I'm more than and not less than? That is all about, you know what I mean, experience. And you're not gonna find that out if you have no friends, or, you know what I mean? It is a thing that you find out through trial and error, literally. But anyway, number 4, something every girl, boys too, but girls, I need you to really put on the AirPods, put on the headphones, put on the beats, and listen. Listen to this. Boys. Let me tell you one thing my mother taught me, or one thing my mother told me. A boy can be your biggest downfall. Men are women's biggest downfall. If we're being for real, a man can ruin a woman's life, a young lady's life, a girl's life, just like that. And I'm not talking about getting her pregnant or stuff like that, or sex or stuff like that. Mentally, if you do not have the correct mind power, which your freshman brain is still not fully developing, you know what I mean? You're not going to be able to really see the I don't know, you're not going to be able to really see the truth of a man and his evil intentions, because you are so young and you've never experienced, you know what I mean, the stuff that you're about to experience in high school when it comes to boys. And let's just be honest, and I'm gonna be honest, and I need you to be honest with yourself the same way I wish freshman me would have been honest with myself. I don't care how mature you say you are still naive. Okay? You are still naive and you are still a child. I know I have one more year to be a legal adult, but at the same time, I'm old enough to know that 13-year-old girls, 13, 14-year-old girls, I don't care how mature people have told you were since you've grown up, and I don't care. I don't want to hear it. You are a child. You are 13, 14 years old. And yes, you're going through, you're a teenager, and yes, you're going through this. But at the end of the day, you're still 13. You're still 14. I'm going to keep repeating it. You're still 13. You're still 14. Okay, what I mean? So no matter what these boys are going to start telling you in high school, always remember that you are 13 and you are 14. And do not let these boys take that innocence away from you, you know what I mean, and your heart, and make you to be someone that you are not. Do not let that happen to you. You make sure you keep in your heart of who you are and the girl that you were before you became, before you go into high school, you know what I mean? Because it is so easy to get caught up into, oh, well, my friend has a boyfriend, I want a boyfriend, I want to experience what she's experiencing, or I want to have my first kiss, I want to have this. There's no rush. There's absolutely no rush, because remember, you're only 13. Another thing I'm going to say is, bringing back in with the maturity thing, listen, my dear girls, from a girl that has experienced it before, do not date anyone that is not a freshman or I'm sorry. You should not be a freshman dating a junior. Well, I'm gonna rephrase that. There should not be any juniors dating a freshman. There should not be any seniors dating sophomores or freshmen. And I'm sorry. Because let me just tell you why. When you're still a child and you're developing, your brain is not fully developed. So you're literally going through stages just like a baby would, just like a newborn baby will go through. You now in your teenage phase, you are now going through new phases that 17-year-old or 18-year-old boy has already been through. You know what I mean? Because you're 13. So there's no reason why a 17-year-old boy or an 18-year-old boy should be interested in you. Okay, what I'm saying? You have to understand, even when you hear you're mature and you think that, oh, well, since I'm mature, I could date this boy, or, oh, since I'm mature, you know what I mean? It's not a big deal, but it is, because why is he even dating you? You're 13 years old. You can't drive. You can't go anywhere without asking your mother or father's permission, or whoever your guardian is. You can't get a job. You can't do anything. So what does a 17-year-old or 18-year-old or 16-year-old boy want with the 13-year-old little girl? And I know you don't want to hear you're a little girl, because you're not a little girl. You're becoming, you know what I mean? You're a teenager now. But what does he want to do with you? Nothing. I'll tell you what he wants to do with you. He wants to have with you. That's all he wants to do. And even if y'all aren't talking about those things, still, there's still something psychologically wrong with that boy as to why he sees an attractiveness in you. Do you understand what I'm saying? If a 60-year-old man was like, ooh, girl, you looking good to me, I'm like, boy, you're sick. You're a pedo. You're a pedo. You know why? Because what does a 60-year-old man see in a 17-year-old little girl? Absolutely nothing but pedophilia. That's all. Great. Now for the fifth thing, we're gonna talk about looks, okay? We're gonna talk about appearance. We're gonna talk about style, you know what I mean? So, one sec, I've been talking so much. I've been talking for 25 minutes straight to a camera. I need a break. Whew. But back to it. Appearance, okay? So, in this day and age that we live in social media, appearance is everything, like, to the people, okay? And let me just tell you this. When you go into high school, do not be, or let me say this quote before I say that. Comparison is the thief of joy. And what I mean by that is, you wake up, you look at yourself in the mirror, and you put on your outfit, and you're feeling good, and you feeling like, ooh, like I look good. You see yourself, and you're like, you're beautiful. And then as soon as you get to school, and you see a girl with this Telefar bag or these Jordans you want, or her hair's done and your mom didn't let you get your hair done like that, and now you're like, dang, I'm not even all that, like she's better than me, like now I need this. Now you need stuff you've never needed before. And let me just tell you, that is exactly what I mean when I say comparison is the thief of joy. Because if you never would have compared yourself to that girl, you would have still been just as confident in yourself as you were when you walked out the door this morning before you seen that girl. But instead, your mindset, and you decided to say, no, I'm going to look at this girl, I'm going to compare her life to my life, and now I'm going to want what she wants, and now I'm not grateful for the things that I have in my life, and now I want to be like her. You know what I mean? And you don't want to be like that. And it's okay to develop your own style and to say, hey, actually, I want to wear stuff like this now. But it's never okay when you say, and you say to yourself something that, it's never okay when you stop loving what you once loved because now you want to become someone else that you are not. You know what I mean? Next thing that we are going to talk about is peer pressure. All right? So we are on 6. Wow, only 6 for more to go. Anyway, we're going to talk about peer pressure. So I know you've been hearing about peer pressure since you were in elementary school. You probably had a guy or a woman come in and do a presentation about peer pressure and blah, 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 and all right? But I have to bring it up again because it is a real thing that occurs in middle school, and peer pressure is a big thing that I see that high schoolers fall down through of the rabbit hole just by being peer pressured or just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And let me just tell you, do not fall for it. You know what I mean? Do not fall into what the crowd is doing. And another thing that comes with peer pressure, the mainly thing, is things such as drugs, sex, those are the biggest thing for peer pressure. And let me just tell you, do not get involved in it. And maybe, you know, who you decide to sleep with is none of my business, nor is it anyone's else but yourself. But at the same time, if you don't feel comfortable and if you feel like you are not ready, do not allow any person to take that opportunity away from you. And the second thing when it comes with drugs is drugs aren't cool, okay? Drugs are not something that are cool. It might seem cool because your friends are doing it, but drugs aren't, baby, those aren't anything. Especially in this day and generation, and I'm not saying that because I'm saying like, oh, we're Gen Z. It's because, babe, it's not real. You'll think you're taking something and you'll end up dead off of an overdose from fentanyl, okay? Now we are going to talk about mindset, which feeds into the whole peer pressure thing. So mindset is the third biggest thing I'm going to talk about. I don't know if it's the third biggest thing or the fourth biggest thing, but your mindset will change and base your trajectory of your middle school career. Like 1000%. Your mindset will show where you will be when it is time to walk that stage on senior year, or how your grades will turn out, or how your relationship with your parents will end up becoming. Because let me just tell you, when you get to high school, your relationship with many different people are gonna change, because you are now becoming your own person, and you are not becoming what your parents have built into. You are gonna start shying away from that and shying away from stuff like that. So your mindset of who you decide to say, this is who I'm gonna be, this is what I'm waking up to do, this is what I'm going to school to do, that will change absolutely everything. Because you can either have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. All right, so you have fixed and you have growth. A fixed mindset is basically based off of, hey, this is who I am, this is what it is, and I'm not changing. That is a fixed mindset, and that mindset will get you in the gutter, okay? It will get you nowhere. It will get you nowhere in life, all right? Growth mindset, on the other hand, though, is, hey, I understand I have a problem with this. I'm going to work on fixing it. Or, hey, these are my goals. These are the things I want to create in life. This is what I'm going to start doing in order to change my life moving forward. That is a growth mindset. And this mindset will get you way further than this mindset that is now at the gutter of the floor. Okay? So make sure you have a great mindset and read books, y'all. I'm not talking about, well, you can read the books in your library at your school. Read those too. But also read books that help you grow as a person and that give you motivation to do something else and to be something else in life other than what other people have said, okay? Now we're going to talk about clubs and colleges, stuff like that. So we are now on 8. So join clubs. So my mom I honestly regret I did not join. I felt like I did not join enough clubs. I was in one club, but I should have been in like 5. They're super easy to sign up for. Just sign up for them, y'all. Just do it. Just do it. Just listen to me. Sign up, because clubs help with colleges, and they all kind of go into one another, okay? For the 9th thing that we're going to talk about is dual enrollment. So, dual enrollment. I don't know how it works for other people, but if your school does have a dual enrollment plan or whatever, look into it. See, hey, what is this? What is this dual enrollment thing? Like, how does it work? And basically what it is you are a high school student also taking college classes that work to you getting your associate's degree. Now, if I was a freshman and when I was a freshman, if I would have known about dual enrollment, I probably would have been doing it my sophomore year or my freshman year if I knew about it. So yeah, it's basically where you take online classes. You can go in person or you can go online. I did online for my sophomore and my junior year, and I genuinely loved it, because if you're doing it online, you can leave school early to do it at home. So you have less periods, and you know what I mean? So it kind of goes all in one together. So do dual enrollment and become close with your counselor. That's a big thing. Counselors, those go 2 and 2 together. Your counselor will help you so much within your high school career. I don't care if it's going to her about a prop or him going to whoever about, hey, I feel this kind of way. Hey, this is going on in my home. Hey, I need this. Hey, I'm lacking when it comes to this class. Hey, what kind of colleges should I start looking into? Hey, can I get into dual enrollment? Hey, what's my GPA looking like? Your counselor will have every question that your parents cannot give you the answers to when it comes to relating to school. So make sure you talk to your counselors and you become friends with them and you become mutuals with them, and y'all have an understanding of each other. So when you do have questions like this, which you most 1000% will, you will feel comfortable going to them about it, and you won't feel like, hey, they don't really know what I like, they don't really know me, stuff like that. All right? Number 10, for the last thing we will be talking about. The last thing that we're going to be talking about for 10 things you need to know before a high school career is happiness, okay? Make sure you are happy. We are in the generation of mental health, okay? And yeah, just make sure you're happy, okay? Because for me, I've always been a very happy child and a happy child that has loved school. But my junior year, now that I'm out of whatever I was in, I'm realizing I was depressed my junior year. And and since I've never experienced depression before, I didn't know it was depression. But I most definitely experienced that. And I'm so thankful I had the mother that I had that seen I was going through, like, you know, hard times my junior year, and gave me the understanding that it's okay what you're going through, and that, you know what I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm so thankful for her. But a lot of people don't have mothers like mine, or fathers like mine, or grandparents like mine. Even though I did not have my father supporting me, you know, it was just the support that matters, and not a lot of people have that support. So, you know, if you need to come to me, or you need to come to a counselor, or anyone you need to go to, a close friend, just talk, you know, express yourself, vent, write in notebooks, create a YouTube channel, do whatever, you know, it takes for you to learn and to get happiness, because happiness is not something that happens every day. Being happy is a learned behavior, and a behavior that you have to learn how to do. You have to learn how to, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And it's hard when, you know, you get to high school and you feel like you're losing friends. Everything I just listed, those are all reasons for someone to break down emotionally if they, you know, if they can't handle all what's going into it. So just make sure you're happy. Make sure you're around people that make you happy, and just be who you are and love on yourself. And high school is the years for you to start learning yourself and to start loving yourself, because no one will ever love you how you love you. So love you, and make sure that you're intentional with loving yourself, and you're intentional with loving the people around you, and you're just intentional about everything that you do now going forward, okay? So that is pretty much the end of the video. To wrap it up, I know this is kind of longer than my usual videos, but I felt like, you know, I haven't been on here in so long, and if anything, if I wanted to say anything, I wanted to say this. I wanted to give this advice out to the little girls, to the little boys, to whoever that needs it, and I need you to take it and internalize it and listen. You know what I mean? Because everything I've told you, I'm telling you that all high schoolers experience. I don't matter if you're emo, if you're like I don't know, if you're like emo, really girly girl, really sports, whatever you are, you're gonna experience something on this list that I have told you, and I just want to get you prepared. So yeah, I hope you guys like, comment, and enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if there's any more questions you have, or if there's any more back to school videos you would like to see. And yeah, share this with a friend or anyone that you know that will be going into high school, so you can give them these tips so that they will be successful. And have a nice day. Bye, guys.